Lagos is one of the fastest growing megacity on a sinking shoreline. With over 16 million people and about 275,000 new residents each year, the city's Atlantic shoreline, barely 2 meters above sea level, has already receded nearly 3 kilometers over the past century. In response, the Lagos State government and private developer launched Eco Atlantic, a $6 billion project to reclaim ocean from the Atlantic and build a new climate-proof city by creating roughly 10 square kilometers of land off Victoria Island. They hope to protect Lagos from erosion while giving it room to grow. But many experts question the wisdom and equity of the plan. Now, let's check the scopes of the project. Eco Atlantic will cover about 10 square kilometers, roughly the same size as Manhattan in New York. By mid-2023, about 2/3, that is 6.5 square kilometers of this new island has been reclaimed. The Great Wall of Lagos is a reinforced breakwater revetment, planned at 8.4 kilometers long. In 2023, about 7 kilometers of seawall has been built to shield the new land and part of the old shoreline from storm surge. The city's core is built roughly on 95 million cubic meters of sand, dredged from the ocean floor. This requires a massive protective barrier. When finished, Eco Atlantic is designed to host about 250,000 residents and 150,000 daily commuters. The master plan includes high-rise offices, luxury houses, malls, and marinas, essentially a new financial and entertainment hub. Proponents hails Eco Atlantic as a sustainable city, as a bulwark against climate change. The project is a strategic partnership between Lagos State government and the private developer, the Calgary Group, and the federal government of Nigeria. They claim it will have high-quality infrastructure, energy-efficient buildings, and its own power, water, and transit system. The Lagos State governor called it a solution to decades of beach erosion and flooding. However, the official optimism contrasts sharply with critics' concern. Environmental scientists warn that displacing 95 million cubic meters of sand from the seabed can have severe consequences. Dredging disrupts natural sediment flow along the coast, accelerating erosion elsewhere. In fact, local experts have documented worsening erosion and flooding in nearby fishing villages since massive dredging began for other Lucky Area projects. Removing so much sand from the ocean leaves beaches defenseless. Waves strike harder without natural sand buffers. In plain terms, landfilling one stretch of shoreline can make neighboring shoreline far more vulnerable, a risk that critics say has not been fully addressed. Beyond ecology, many fear Eco Atlantic will serve only the wealthy. Nigerian poverty rate is sky high, about 35% of the population, that is 87 million people, living below the poverty line, and most Lagosians rely on the unprotected coast for sustenance. Yet, Eco Atlantic first tenants are multinational banks, oil companies, and luxury developers. One analyst literally called it climate apartheid, a gated enclave of luxury high-rises for global elites, cutting itself off from a country where 60% of Nigerians live on less than $1 a day. Just kilometers from Eco Atlantic in Makoko, a stilt village built on the water by poor fishermen, government effort usually clears away such informal settlement to make clean urban spaces, raising the spectre that coastal defenses protect one group while displacing another. Gentrification at its best. In short, critics says Eco Atlantic cities' benefits are poorly targeted. It does nothing for vulnerable millions in the lagoon slum, nor for the millions of fishers depending on healthy mangrove and reef ecosystems. Meanwhile, the massive investments financed by politically connected politicians and international banks raises questions of opportunity cost. Why spend billions on a new luxury district when 87 million Nigerians remain in poverty? My personal experience recently at Eco Atlantic, goods and services were sold at 1000% market price, clearly not aimed at ordinary people. If you don't believe me, go into a restaurant at Eco Pair and try to buy a bottle of water. These tensions between ambition, coastal projects, and social equity is not unique to Lagos. In fact, Eco Atlantic echoes other mega reclamations and coastal defense worldwide, with mixed results. Dubai famously built palm-shaped luxury island by dredging millions of cubic meters of sand off its coast. Studies found this process buried coral reef, oyster beds, and seagrass under mud of silt, and disrupted coastal currents so badly that nearby beaches began eroding. The water around the Palm Jumeirah turned murky, and developers have had to constantly pump sand to maintain beaches. In effect, Dubai artificial archipelagos became an environmental headache, an expensive luxury project with heavy marine demand. Eco Atlantic is even larger in scale, so experts worry, will Lagos face similar fallout? Singapore has also reclaimed vast land, growing its territory by 25%, more than twice the area of Manhattan, but pairs this with far-sighted coastal planning. The city-state now has 70% of its coastline protected by engineered barriers like the 226 million Marina Barrage Dam. Crucially, Singapore embraced nature. Mangrove forests are preserved and expanded as part of the flood control. In fact, tropical mangroves there can reduce storm wave height by over 75%. Trapping sediments and breaking tsunami forces. The lesson: combine hard infrastructure with ecosystem restoration. Eco Atlantic investors talk of sustainability, but so far it is all concrete. They could learn from Singapore's blend of revetment and wetlands. The Dutch confront rising sea by working with water, not just against it. About 1/3 of the Netherlands lie below sea level. Yet, they avoid endless landfilling by building massive storm surge barriers at the delta works and creating polders. Reclaimed land behind new dikes that is pumped dry. Instead of exporting erosion elsewhere, this solution keeps natural coastal processes largely intact. Singapore's new polder and dikes project explicitly copies this model. By contrast, Eco Atlantic approach, which is wall off and reclaim, may offer short-term growth, but it could make nearby coasts worse off, just as some study worry for Lagos. This case shows there is no single answer, but two broad paths: build expensive new cities or reclaim land at high environmental and social costs, or invest in a resilient planning for existing cities. Nigeria has the luxury of land and could do better. Quick one before we continue. Over 99% of you watching have not subscribed. If you are enjoying this, help us grow. Hit that subscribe button, like the video and turn on notification. It costs nothing, but it helps us invest in better gear and tell even greater African stories. When I go further, check the description for my Patreon link. Your support means everything. Let's build this together. What then are the alternatives? Environmental and developmental experts stress nature-based and community-focused solutions as complementary or even better defenses. In short, critics of Eco Atlantic aren't against protecting Lagos, they just favor alternative methods. Restoring mangrove and reinforcing existing levees might cost far less than infilling the ocean, and those methods would benefit ordinary people as well as businesses. Adapting to sea level rise must be inclusive. Wealthy enclave won't stop a city from drowning if the rest is unprepared. Eco Atlantic is an audacious vision, a gleaming city rising from the Atlantic, promising prestige and protection. It reflects Nigeria's ambition to be a global player and a very real need to cope with climate threats. But it also highlights the trade-off of modern mega projects. As this episode has shown, land reclamation on this scale strains ecosystems, redistributes risk, and accentuates social divide. For a global audience, Lagos is a test case. Will emerging economic replicate Dubai-style land grab or innovate more inclusive strategy? Ultimately, Eco Atlantic's fate will be decided over the coming years. The key question remains: who exactly is the city for? Its success might lie not in how many skyscrapers is built, but in whether it inspires a balanced approach. One that shields Lagos from the rising sea and uplift the millions who live by its shores. As climate change accelerates, Lagos' choices and the lessons from Eco Atlantic will matter far beyond Nigeria.